Welcome back to the channel. My name is Steven. I'm a pharmacist. I own 52 units of real estate and I help coach people to buy their first multifamily deal. So today I want to talk about financial freedom and specifically why I want to fat fire. So if you look at the FIRE movement, which stands for Financial Independence, Retire Early, there's different tiers of FIRE. So I think the first kind of tier, and I might mix these up, but there's lean fire. So lean fire is you're basically not having to work, but you're living a more leaner lifestyle. And some people are okay with this if you're willing to relocate to a cheaper area. If you already live in a cheaper area, like if you're living in the Southeast, the Midwest, where it's more affordable, and not living in the coastal states like California, New York, Seattle, where it's way more expensive. So a lot of people choose to lean fire or lean fi by basically living off of bare bones. So they don't go on super extravagant vacations. They do a lot of things that don't require money. Like you can go hiking for free. You can go on walks for free. You can do hobbies that are very inexpensive. So it's a certain lifestyle, right? Where you're very lean, you can retire early. Nothing against it, but it's not for me right now. Because for me, I want to maintain my same lifestyle as a pharmacist, making 150K each on average, so 300K total, and still live as if I was working as a pharmacist, but I don't have to work as a pharmacist because I have other assets and built up a net worth and have, passive income streams. So lean fire, once again, is maybe you're relocating to a cheaper area. Like if I were to relocate to Oklahoma where I can pay $500 a month in rent, I could easily retire because my HOA right now is just $500. But don't want to do that, at least right now. It's my personal choice. So lean fire, once again, relocating to a cheaper area, or you're already in a cheap area and you're living very bare bones. So let's say you live off $1,000 or $2,000 a month, then you basically have enough money where you can generate passively $2,000 a month to cover all your basic living expenses, but maybe it's not as extravagant. You're not traveling like crazy, but you live a more cheaper lifestyle where maybe you don't mind growing your own food. Maybe you don't mind going to grocery outlet. Maybe you don't mind going on hikes and doing free stuff. There's a lot of simple joys in life that I do as well. But for me, I still want to be able to do the nicer things like travel more. So the next thing is kind of like Coastfire. So Coastfire is kind of an upgrade for lean fire where you can basically coast to financial independence, early retirement. And I can do that right now where I don't have to do a single more investment. I just can continue working my W-2 and just let everything compound over time and invest over time. And eventually when I'm 50, I'll have at least, I don't even know, $20 million plus net worth doing nothing, just letting things compound over time, dollar cost average, give it time, and not live my lifestyle. That's Coastfire. So you're kind of coasting. You don't have to do anything extra. Don't buy any more real estate. Just invest in index funds passively and let that compound over the next 10, 15, 20 years. By then I'll be 50, 55, and then your net worth will just, assuming 7% return on average, every 10 years, your net worth doubling. So if I'm $7 million today, when I'm 45, I'll be 14 million. When I'm 55, I'll be 28 million. So it's just that natural progression of compounding. So I kind of hit that point where I could, if I want to retire by 50, which is still earlier than most, I could just coast-fi and just continue doing what I'm doing. But I want to be more aggressive with my goal of retire at 40 latest. And I want to fat fire at 40. So for me, fat fire is living the same lifestyle that we'd make as two working pharmacists, where we're taking home almost 20K a month net after taxes between the two of us. So I want to be able to build up enough passive income through real estate, through index funds, through net worth by lowering my expenses significantly to achieve that fat fire. So for me, if I was aiming for fat fire at 20K a month net, but let's just say I'm factoring I have to pay a $5,000 a month mortgage. If I were to pay off my mortgage by selling one of my single family homes, take the equity, pay capital gains tax, pay depreciation for capture, whatever's left over, use that to pay off my primary residence, maybe throw an additional cash on top of that to cover the difference. And from there, I would wipe out my $5,000 a month mortgage. So now I only need $15K a month to live a fat fire lifestyle because my biggest expense is my mortgage is paid off. Yes, I still have property tax, HOA, utilities, insurance, which is $2,000 a month. But if I'm literally, let's say, having passive income of $15K a month, or I can live off $15K a month, and my living expense is only $2K, that's a very small fraction of my monthly income, right? So I still have $13,000 a month that I can spend outside of my living expense. So that's still considered fat fire to me. And I'm living in a high cost of living area like Los Angeles. So that's why for me, a big piece of fat fire in my mind is just paying off my mortgage. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to take one of my properties, sell it, take the equity, pay off the debt on this property. Yes, I lose real estate, but I have a paid off mortgage and reduce my living expense significantly because now I can just live off of, instead of having 20K a month of passive income through real estate, assuming I'm paying a mortgage, but if I wipe out my mortgage, then I only need 15K a month in passive income. And fortunately for me, or unfortunately, I have a lot of properties that don't really cash flow, but they have a lot of equity in them that's built up over time. So I can basically sell a property that doesn't give me any current cash flow. They break even, but take that equity, which is trapped, to then pay off my mortgage, which wipes off my $5,000 a month of mortgage. So now I only need 15K to live a fat fire lifestyle, and 2K goes to my living expense, which is, I can't even do that math, but I would say it's 20% of my, I think 15% of my total take home income. So I have 85% margin where I can, go travel. I could eat out at restaurants. I could do fancier things. I do enjoy the free things in life too. Like I do like to go hiking. I do like to go for walks around parks. You can do a lot of things for free and still feel joy from that. But like I said, I want the option to be able to go travel. And when I travel, it doesn't have to be like 5 stars, but it still has to be decent, right? Like when we travel, typically, like to Japan, ends up being $4,000 for 2 weeks for two people. But if I have a family of four now, it's gonna be a little more expensive. But we can still stay in those like decent places that can accommodate all that. So that's kind of my goal and my strategy is to remove the biggest expense off my plate, which is my mortgage, to be able to still live a fat fire lifestyle of 15K a month. And if you can't do the math, we have a $7 million net worth combined. And yes, a lot of it is trapped in real estate. So I will have to sell some properties that probably are high equity, no cash flow. I have like 4 of those. Take that money, dump it into the index funds where hopefully it averages 7% a year, and then you can withdraw the 4% rule of that. So I'm going to keep my cash flowing real estate, or I can sell a lot of properties, pay off a lot of my properties I own with debt, and then that can juice up my cash flow as well. So like for example, if I were to pay off my primary residence, that would save me $5,000 a month in mortgage. If I were to sell another property and pay off my 2 apartment complexes, that would save me another almost $5,000 a month as well. So I would reduce my expense effectively by wiping out 3 mortgages by $10,000 a month. So now my properties are cash flowing $5,000 more. I reduce my expense by $5,000 as well on top of that. So now my cash flow for my real estate, I'm averaging 10K a month is my average. But if I were to have no mortgage on my apartments, my cash flow would juice up to 15K per month. So there you go. Just by selling 3 properties, single family homes that don't really cash flow, high equity, I can have no mortgage, reduce that expense significantly, and pay off 2 apartment complexes, not worry about the mortgage being called due every 10 years, and increase my cash flow by about $5,000 a month. So now I'm averaging 15K a month in cash flow, which allows me to live that fat fire lifestyle. And then yes, 15K a month in real estate income isn't always guaranteed, but I still can draw from my brokerage account portfolio using the 4% rule to cover the rest. So if I have like a $2 million brokerage account and I live off, or even $1 million, I live off 4%, that's 40K. Divide that by 12, that's roughly $3,000 a month on top of that. So between that $3,000 a month in the 4% rule, and then the 10 to 15K a month passive income from my real estate portfolio, depending on the expenses, there you go. I have, let's say worst end, it's 10K. I have 13K a month, which is my fat fire number. So for me, it's literally obtainable right now. I just have to sell 3 of my first single family homes that I purchased in California that I bought in 2017, 19, and 20, and cash out the equity and move it to a more liquid source and then use it to pay off a lot of debt as well. So that type of combination is what's amazing about real estate, is that I focus all my time, all my energy in real estate. I made most of my net worth from real estate, but when the time comes, I can cash out all the equity, pay the taxes, pay the depreciation recapture, use that to pay off a lot of debt, which lower my expenses, increases my cash flow, and also take some of that money to make it more liquid in the index funds that I can use to live off that 4% rule, and to also increase my cash position as emergency reserve. So that's why I view real estate as like piggy banks, that you can build a lot of equity from it, but when you're ready to retire, you can crack open those piggy banks and make the money moves I just described. Take debt off the table, increase your liquidity, invest more in index funds, increase your cash reserves. So you can do all those moves once you have the equity, you have the net worth. So that's the privilege that I've earned over time. But like I said, for me, when I retire, I don't want to be lean fire. I'm already at Coastfire, but I want to retire at 40 in 5 years. So, and I want to fat fire where I could still live that upper middle class lifestyle, where I can go on vacation, I can go travel, I can eat what I want, I can buy things without looking at the price tags for the most part. I can do what I want, when I want, with who I want, and maintain the same lifestyle, but not have to work while maintaining that lifestyle. So, like I said, that's going to be about 13K a month with a family of 4. And having a paid off mortgage. So I think I can live that lifestyle accordingly if I had that, or I can still take my kids for activities and sports and whatever they want to do, right? And maybe ad hoc daycare if needed. So, anyways, let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. If you want to learn to build a real estate portfolio with a lot of equity so you can retire, check out my link tree down below. Check out the one-on-one coaching, the mentorship program. I have a course. And if you want to really expedite your retirement, you have to surround yourself with people who are owning real estate, right? And when you retire early, you want to have a community of people as well. So that's what I'm hoping to do with the mentorship program. So once again, check the link tree down below. Otherwise, let me know what questions you have. Please like, comment, subscribe. Hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.